You know, normally I wouldn't feel the need to go into things about a song that aren't, like, strictly related to the song. But in the case of this song, I kind of have to. If you're normally, fair warning here, if you're normally someone who watches, like, more of my commentaries and stuff like that, have fun. This might be a little bit of a longer video. It could be fairly short. I tend to be very good at, saying things succinctly, but there's a lot to talk about here. But if you're more used to my music reviews or my cartoon reviews and stuff like that, strap in. This is going to be a dissertation. So let's do this in kind of a reverse order. As of writing this, and probably not by the time this video comes out, but it is what it is, Old Town Road by Lil Nas X is the #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100. So, you're probably wondering who Lil Nas X is and why he's here. Well, to answer your first question, he's a SoundCloud artist. We'll get into why he got any mainstream attention at all in a little bit. But first, we need to address why he's here. Why he's this far up. Well, the answer to that is kind of that it's Billboard's fault. See, initially, they placed him in the genre chart for country. And then they took him off that chart and put him on hip-hop and R&B and removed him from the country charts. I'm just going to read Billboard's official explanation for this. Upon further review, it was determined that Old Town Road by Lil Nas X does not currently merit inclusion on Billboard's country charts. When determining genres, a few factors are examined. But first and foremost is musical composition. While Old Town Road incorporates references to country and cowboy imagery, it does not embrace enough elements of today's country music to chart in its current version. Bullshit! My first piece of evidence against this entire argument is the fact that Big and Rich exist. So, what elements of country music does that have that Lil Nas X doesn't, other than white people are singing it? See, here's the thing. I'm not going to say this is about race, because honestly, it isn't entirely about race. And I can prove it. Black people are actually allowed on Billboard's charts. Darius Rucker went from whatever Hootie and the Blowfish was to country music, after all. But Darius Rucker was doing things that were stylistically hip-hop. But Darius Rucker was doing things that were traditionally country things. Big and Rich is actually a much better example. I know I used them at the beginning. They were like 1/3 black only, and they were doing things that were stylistically more in line with hip-hop. And they were still on the country charts. Because a lot of what they did was also in line stylistically with country. And they were very different from what country music was back then. Back then, you weren't bragging about sex in country songs. You weren't and their song was called Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. Now, if it's because Lil Nas X uses too many hip-hop elements, I mean, isn't that what country's been trying to do for years? If you look at mainstay acts like Florida Georgia Line and Luke Combs, they've been incorporating hip-hop elements rather heavily for quite some time. Including the use of trap-influenced drum lines, which, by the way, are completely synthesized. That's going to be important later. Of course, it kind of makes sense that rap and country are coming closer and closer together. After all, they're practically the same genre. Okay, I might need to explain that one a little bit more. This is kind of something that artists like Nelly and Tim McGraw helped expose even before Big and Rich were a big deal. But both country and rap are fully American-made forms of artistic expression, formed from the roots of distinctly American societal evolution known for their lyricism and storytelling capabilities. Country and rap are both genres that are very much associated with being able to tell a story, at least if you ask the people who are fans of those genres. And realistically, they both are distinctly American art forms. And they represent diametrically opposed forms of those art forms, country representing more of rural America, whereas rap music tends to represent more of an urban style of American culture. And this was the point where I was going to give a bit of an argument that defends this decision, pointing out the fact that, there's even in country music that tends to be more secular in nature, tends to stick to more of the value system associated with religion, and that could have been an entire huge point on its own. In reality, no, not necessarily. Really, the only place where that argument holds with Lil Nas X's song is really with him mentioning lean, and, lean is like cough syrup. That's really the only point where that justification falls in favor of Lil Nas X not being on the country charts. I'm going to make a bold decision here. I kind of sort of see that as a justification, but then again I don't, because country music has a history of having songs about smuggling, moonshine, which is technically still illegal, by the way. The thing about moonshine is that although alcohol is legal, moonshine is like alcohol made in your basement. That was like the thing that Prohibition was really concerned about. So it's a whole thing, but that's just it. Like, kind of making alcohol in your own like house, and that's kind of what cough syrup is. They were kind of creating their own drink. They were kind of, in essence, creating their own drink from what they had to make something that was stronger and, more potent. If you know Houston hip-hop culture's history, then you would know stuff like that. But, and that's really all lean is freaking beer and cough syrup. Well, not beer and cough syrup, like alcohol and cough syrup is what it is. So, in reality, no, that doesn't go against country's ideals at all. I'm gonna change what I was originally gonna say, and point out that, no, this absolutely belongs on the country charts. They talk about alcohol all the time, and they've talked about illegal drugs in throughout the history of country music. But to give the argument the other way, they don't talk about illegal drugs now. They don't. It's not something that's done in country music. So fair play on that. So there's a slight argument there, even though I think it's pedantic, and I do not agree with it. So, but the fact is, this discussion is being had because of the fact that Lil Nas X created something that blurred the lines between country and rap enough for the people who divert these into genres professionally don't know how to do it. So even a little bit of attention, even small amounts of mainstream attention was going to make the song blow up, because it was going to because Lil Nas X created something that created a discussion, and as soon as people are able to see it and be able to get a discussion out of it, it was going to become a major hit. So I guess the question at that point is, how did it get that amount of attention needed to get that ball rolling? Allow me to demonstrate.
I wanna stake their claim on my video, but I'll fight till they can't no more. Copyright was claimed, this version's really lame. Columbia can suck on one, they ain't getting me that way. Got a purple horse, that left me no recourse. Had to make a remix, they don't know how.
That's right, TikTok, the latest platform for cringe and memes of all sorts, is responsible for this song making any charts whatsoever. I mean, and it's pretty clear to see why this song is pretty easily memeable. See, again, it's kind of the thing that got it to the top that's part of what gets it even the meme attention in the first place, because he created something that combines two things that are diametrically opposed. And one thing, it's very hard to predict what's going to be a meme on any platform, don't get me wrong, but on TikTok it seems like one thing that audio that tends to be used frequently is audio that where the music is part of the joke in and of itself. For instance, YNW Melly's success can partially be contributed to the platform, and that's because of people joking about law enforcement jamming out to the song. So we have to ask ourselves, what is inherently funny about this song? Well, it really comes down to how it uses its dichotomy. See, the thing is, there is a point going from the chorus to the first verse where it kind of sounds like two different songs going between that point. And that's kind of where things happen. When it goes from sounding strictly like a country song to sounding more like a country rap song, that's the point where people, do the thing where they change the clothes and that's kind of the thing, appearing in different clothes after something happens. I just flip the switch, flip. That's one that they like. But something where there's a transition for them to appear as something different, that is oftentimes something that people will find particularly funny. That's oftentimes something that will get used on TikTok. So, that's what happens. So basically, the bass is the joke. So this song must be good if it's getting used for memes, right?
What are you doing here? What are you doing here with him?
We're just having fun.
Why the fuck are you here with Bryce?
Why do you care? Tell me.
Tell her, Justin. Alex, let's go.
No, tell me why you care.
Jess, let's go.
I mean, no, the quality of the song has absolutely nothing to do with whether it's a meme or not. So now we're really at the meat of the matter. We're finally talking about the song. So, what the fuck is this shit? Well, there's a surface level interpretation of basically being a Western outlaw version of Rockstar by interpolating imagery associated with one genre into another. And a Western outlaw does make sense as a gangster. That's probably where ICP got the idea for big money rustlers. Anyway. Lyrics like this, though.
Riding on a horse, ha, you can whip your Porsche. I've been in the valley, you ain't been up off that porch now.
Out of vibe of placing more importance on individual style than established symbols of status. I could cite a number of examples of songs that do this, but you know what? I'm gonna bring up the Jidenna song where he talks about being old-fashioned as a status symbol. Why? Because you people need to listen to Jidenna. He's good. Anyway, so you probably think that I have nothing but praise for this song and lots of good stuff, blah, blah, blah. Then now that I'm saying it, you probably think that I'm going to be doing the opposite. Here's a bad line.
My life is a movie, bull riding and boobies.
Don't say boobies, you sound like a child. But the song does kind of feel incomplete. And in the past, I've talked a little bit about songs that feel like incomplete musical thoughts, and this is a prime example of that. It's even structured like there should be more. It goes chorus, verse, verse, chorus. I'd give it a little bit more credit if it was like chorus, verse, or something like that. But, it really does feel like incomplete. Probably could have used another verse or something like that. Which is why when Billboard took it off the country charts, it seems ever so fitting that Billy Ray fucking Cyrus stepped in and added a third verse.
Pat down, cross town with...
Adding Billy Ray to the song adds quite a bit to the song. But there is something in his verse that, on at least a surface level, really does contradict the song itself.
Riding down Rodeo in my Maserati sports car.
Didn't this song just choose horses over sports cars? Now, to be fair, I'm not saying that Billy outright didn't understand the meaning of the song. He understood it a little bit. That's why he appeared on it. And I would like to note that there could be a potential explanation for this that goes deeper than the surface level. In his Genius Verified video, LNX explains how the song is also about the pursuit of fame through the use of symbolism. And how the second half of the song is really about achieving that fame. Well, I mean, he's still choosing to ride a tractor when he's famous, granted. And I can give credit. Maybe Billy Ray was looking at that, searching for fame, and felt that that was what he needed to add. And I'm not really going to condemn him for not realizing that it was already in the song or kind of accidentally making a contradiction, because he's coming in after the fact. So, you know, he's not necessarily going to have every aspect down to a T. And possibly that's why this song is so short. It may be such a complex construction that it wouldn't really support much longer without there being contradictions in place. That being said, is this the best song in the world? No, not really. It's okay. It's decent. I enjoy it. I do come back to listening to it, and I enjoy it, but I'm definitely not putting this on my best list. It's not really coming anywhere close to it. That's part of the reason I really wanted to talk about it now. But and nothing about this song really blew my mind, except when I first heard it, and the first time I realized that the person who did the chorus and the person who did the verse were the same person. LNX has actually some pretty decent vocal range, and, you know, this guy has some songwriting and vocal talent skills that I definitely want to hear more of, so I'm 100% behind this song's success.
I wanna stake my claim on my video, but I'll fight till they can't no more.
I got the
Copyright was claimed, this version's really lame. Columbia can suck on